Hello everyone, it's Mila here. I hope you're all having an awesome day. Today's video is my quick beginner's guide on how to kick out a villager from your island. So you have probably noticed by now that every now and then when you run around your island, you see this thought bubble floating over one of your villagers' head. And when you approach this villager, they either maybe have something to sell for you, they want to give you a new nickname, or they have been thinking about leaving your island. This last thought bubble is the so-called move out thought bubble that I will be mentioning a lot during this video. And every time I talk about a thought bubble, this is the one that I mean, the one where the villager asks you to move out. And obviously this move out bubble is the only thing that you need to worry about when you want to kick out your nightmare villager. So today I'm going through some tips and tricks on how I get this so-called move out bubble to land on a specific villager that I want to kick out. Obviously this is very beginner friendly, so I assume if you have been playing this game for many hours, you already know most of this. You can use my tips and tricks for this whether you are time traveling or not, but obviously time traveling just makes it so much faster and a little bit easier as well. So a couple of basic things about this move out thought bubble. First of all, this move out thought bubble will never land on your newest villager. So if your newest villager is the one that you're looking for to kick out, you probably have to use the campsite to get rid of that villager. But today we are mostly not talking about amiibo cards and campsites. That might be for another video. But just keep in mind that your newest villager will never get the move out thought bubble. Have I said thought bubble already too many times? So when you have a new villager joining your island, it takes approximately 14 days from that before this thought bubble appears again. Also, if you finished a conversation with a villager that had the thought bubble, it will take 14 days before a new one appears. So in case you had your dreamy having some thoughts about moving out and you said no to them, it will take 14 days before a new thought bubble will appear on your island. So let me show you how I get this thought bubble to land on a specific villager and give you some examples so maybe this all makes a little bit more sense. Okay, so this is my current set of villagers, and from here I already know that Lucky is not gonna leave because he is my newest villager. Today I'm actually trying to get either Sherb or Gonzo to leave. I love both of these villagers actually, but they don't really go with my current island theme, so unfortunately one of them needs to leave today. So obviously, because I have two options for the villager that I'm trying to kick out today, I am fairly confident that it will be quite easy to get either one of them to leave. Also, I have seen the thought bubble circling around Sherb in my previous times when I tried to kick out a villager, so I'm pretty sure one of them will want to leave today and it is going to be quite easy. However, I do want to go through some factors that weigh in how this thought bubble appears on a specific villager. So one main thing that really affects who gets the thought bubble is your friendship with that villager. Obviously, it's not really certain. Even your best friend on the island will eventually get the thought bubble, so the game kind of circles that thought bubble randomly on every villager. But most of the time, the better friend you are with a specific villager, the less chance there is for that thought bubble to land on that villager. So your ideal setup is that you are not really good friends with that villager that you are trying to kick out. I haven't really been friending any of my villagers that much. I have been gifting Gonzo and Sherb some gifts, but I'm pretty sure that I'm not that good friends with them. So how do you know if you are good friends with your villager or not? Well, you can get like a basic idea if you are really good friends with them from a couple of things. One of them is if they already gave you a nickname, then you know that you are quite good friends with them. If they are already asking you to change their their catchphrase, then you already know that you're quite good friends with that villager, and there is maybe less chance for them to get the move out thought bubble. I think your ideal setup is that you haven't friended the villager at all, but just keep in mind that even if it is your worst nightmare villager, you need to talk to them at least once when they move to your island. So you kind of have to welcome them in before they can get the thought bubble. At least I think so. So make sure you talk to them at least once, and talking to them once will not like make any major difference to your friendship. So just make sure you do that. And obviously, if you already know that you don't like a villager, just try to avoid talking to them. Don't go to their birthdays. Don't give them anything. Don't give them medicine when they are sick, because that can really give you a lot of extra friendship points and make it quite much more difficult for that villager to leave. And just keep in mind as well that if there is only one villager that you want really badly to leave your island, you might need a lot of time to kick them out and a lot of patience. And sometimes, even when you try all these tips and tricks, sometimes that villager is just not in your move out queue or something like that. So some villagers might be immune for the kicking out progress, and then you might need to really consider using the campsite or maybe even an amiibo card to kick them out. Okay, so your ideal situation is that you didn't friend that villager that you want to kick out at all. But what if you are in this position that you have really friended that villager that you hate the most for some reason, and it seems like they are really not leaving your island, or for some reason this thought bubble is not appearing on that villager? Well, I have two tips for you in case you are in that situation. So in order to kind of lower the friendship that you have with that villager, you can do two things. One of them is really obvious. You can hit them with the net so they get angry at you, which will obviously lower the friendship a little bit. And the second thing that you can do is to gift them trash. So one of those trash that you get when you're fishing, it can be the empty can, the old boot, or the tire. And the good thing is that you only need one of these items, because the villager will never take the item from you, so you can keep re-gifting it to them each day to lower the friendship. But also keep in mind that if you have really friended that villager a lot, it might take a really long time for this process, so you might need to do this really on many days before the friendship lowers enough. Or the other option is to kind of max out the friendship, so that will sometimes also make that villager get the move out thought bubble. So let's talk about today. I have Gonzo and Sherb here who I'm trying to kick out. I think what I will do today, because I'm quite confident that one of them wants to leave organically, I'm not gonna be lowering the friendship, but what I would do if I see that the thought bubble is landing on like Audie and Alice and Annalise, then I would start like gifting them trash. So that usually helps the thought bubble to kind of land on those villagers. Something you might want to know is that the thought bubble will never appear on a villager on holidays or when KK Sliders is in your town. So you might want to skip all the Saturdays, and if there is any event going on like Bug Off or the fishing tourney, you don't even need to log into that day to see who has the thought bubble. But basically you just time hop 2 weeks ahead in time and start checking each day who has the thought bubble. Also, one random tip that sometimes works for me, if you see that this thought bubble kind of circles around certain villagers when you're time traveling ahead in time, so for example, if it lands on like Camel Frog and Annalise all the time, I would sometimes time travel back to the original date where I started, and sometimes that helps me to get the thought bubble to land on different villagers. I'm not sure if this has like anything to do with it actually, but sometimes it works for me, so that's something you might want to try. Okay, I think that is pretty much all that I have to say about this. So let's see if we can get Gonzo or Sherb to move out. Fingers crossed. Although I am also kind of sad to be kicking one of them out because I really do love them both. Okay, so how I usually start this villager kicking out process is by time traveling 14 days into the future. It has been already a few days since Lucky moved to my island, island, but I'm just gonna travel like 2 weeks. Anyways, just to be sure. I think that should be more or less 2 weeks. Then I obviously close the game and restart it and go and check if this thought bubble has appeared on any villager. Okay, so let's go and check if this thought bubble has appeared. Okay, wish me luck. Okay, I don't really see it. Okay, so Gonzo is inside. Let's go and check Sherb, because if they are both inside, we're just gonna move on to the next day. Okay, maybe Sherb is outside. Okay, so I cannot find either one of them, so I think I'm just gonna move on to the next date. Sometimes if I feel very not lazy, I might gift the other villagers that I don't want to leave some gifts just to try and make their friendship a little bit better so they wouldn't hopefully leave, but you know, sometimes they still end up with the thought bubble, so just for the sake of saving my time and sanity, I'm not gonna be doing that today. But let's hop on to the next day and see if the thought bubble appeared on anyone we want on the 29th. Okay, let's go and check if anyone has it today. Oh my goodness, I think it's on Chirp today. Oh my god, look at him wearing the custom outfit. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's go check this out. Okay, so Chirp has the thought bubble and I guess that is it. Chirp is gonna leave my island. But let's say that suddenly you realize that you don't want to let this villager go. So maybe I regret deciding that Sherb is the one to leave, and at this moment I'm like, oh my goodness, I do not want to let Sherb go. This is the moment before I finish this conversation when I would just force quit the game. And this is very important if you are not time traveling, especially, so you do not waste any time. So before you finish the conversation, just quit the game, don't do anything, do not answer them, just crash your switch and then just move on to the next day, because there is a really good chance that the move out thought bubble has moved on to another villager. So remember, do not finish this conversation, because then you have to wait another 2 weeks before a new move out thought bubble appears. I know people sometimes like to go and check if the thought bubble that is going around their island is the move out thought bubble, but my tip to you is that if you are in the process of trying to get a villager to move out, and if you see a thought bubble on a villager that you don't want to leave, I would just say that do not talk to them, just ignore them for the day, and when you see a move out or when you see a thought bubble appearing on a villager that you potentially want to leave your island, then just go and chat with them and see if it is the move out thought bubble. But anyways, Sherb wants to go and try yummy snacks all over the world, so we are going to be wishing Sherb good luck. But you know, who knows, maybe one day Sherb will come back to Sinamilla Island. Let me know if you learned something new today, or if you have anything to add to this. If you have any questions as well, I'm always happy to answer them in the comments down below. This was very in-depth guide actually. I wasn't supposed to be doing this much explaining, but you know, at least we got to the very core of how to kick out a villager. I do hope that this guide helps you out. I'm wishing you the best of luck kicking out your nightmare villager. Let me know if any of these tips worked for you. If you did enjoy today's video, make sure you like it, because it helps other people to find this video as well. If you want to see more Animal Crossing content, feel free to subscribe. We would also love to have you here in the future. Thank you for watching today's video. I really hope to see you all in the next one as well. Bye guys!